During the course of building this basement, we had pretty good access to the overall structure of the basement when placing forms and having our concrete guys place the overall concrete. However, it started to get a little bit more tricky as we brought more trades in, and so we had to start thinking about, one, safety of our guys, two, how are we gonna get our inspector into the hole? And three, how are we gonna get all our materials and supplies down here efficiently and effectively to be able to get our job done, get our trades in and out and on their way. So today we're gonna talk about the scaffolding tower that sits behind me and its importance in any project where you have a large basement cavity, such as the home that we're sitting in now. So let's get to it. I knew that we had to put together a system that would allow us to be able to easily work within the basement prior to framing. But the real reason that I actually had to get the scaffolding in is because my inspector came out to be able to ensure that our forms were set prior to placing the walls of the basement. And he specifically said, I'm not gonna be one that's getting on a ladder and climbing over that wall for the additional inspections that are gonna happen in the basement. What's the solution that you're gonna have for me on the next inspection? And I said, we'll figure something out. Well, I reached out to Sunbelt, which we get a fair amount of our rentals through, and they decided to do a tower scaffolding. It was an easy buy-in for us because of the three things that we mentioned. The first is safety. We wanna make sure that our guys can easily access their scope of work within the cavity of our basement. And so I'm gonna take you through why we opted to do this tower scaffolding. So let's go take a peek. All right, so here we are. We're at the top of our bridge, essentially, that allows us to be able to scale through the big moat that we created when over-exing and allowing us to be able to have enough room for our basement. So if you look down here, we had about 6 feet to be able to span, and we wanted to make sure that it was secured. And so scaffolding, specifically a scaffolding tower, really was the best option for us because it's stable, it's not impeding any of our construction components, and it allows an easy ramp access with stairs to be able to get all of our construction workers on site effectively and efficiently and safely. But one of the key areas is that our inspector loved us when he came out. He's like, hey, I can just walk down the stairs. He's got about 4 or 5 inspections that are gonna take place in the basement before we actually have our framed staircase within the home. And so he was ecstatic to be able to come out, which was a big feather in our cap because it allows us to be able to continue to have good relationships and safety policies with those that reside outside of our company that are coming on site to be able to get the various items that are absolutely critical for us to be able to finish our projects. And obviously one of those big things is gonna be our city inspectors. So the first item was safety of our trades. We checked that box. The second was getting our inspector in the hole for his inspection, so we checked that box. But the third is also just getting the materials in and out. So what exactly do we have as far as trades and materials coming in and out of the hole? Well, first we have all their tools and their equipment, right? We don't have any power on site, so we're talking potential for generators and saws, compressors, and those types of items that are kind of bulky. It would be definitely a challenge to, climb up a ladder with all those tools and bring them in. But the first guy that we have in is our underground plumbing. And so he's gonna have all of his ABS pipe and his fittings and flanges that are gonna go for the 2 basements that reside downstairs. The second item that we have is actually dirt work. And luckily they don't need to bring dirt up and over this overall structure, the bridge and tower that we've created. They actually have a shooter and they actually shoot a lot of that dirt back into the cavity, and that's gonna actually fill in each one of these areas to allow us to be able to compact over that underground plumbing and ensure that we have a solid base for our AB or ABC compaction underneath that slab. So obviously once we get that dirt in the hole and we get our AB in the hole, we'll probably end up craning that AB in, and then once that's taking place, we've compacted it, we'll go ahead and we'll get our concrete guys to come back and finish their slab, float it out so it's perfectly level so that we can be able to start with framing. Now with framing, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna crane in our lumber because there's a fair amount of lumber. We don't wanna be hand carting it downstairs. But once again, we have all of those things. We have air compressors, we have generators, we have things that are required for us to efficiently and effectively get our project through to the point where we can actually get back to ground level. And so that's why we decided to go with over a tower scaffolding within this project. And the last thing I want to mention is that after a long day, maybe 8, sometimes maybe 10 hours of someone being on site, especially here in Phoenix, even though it's the winter time and it's nice weather, we don't want people being fatigued at the end of the day, hauling stuff out of the hole and really creating more safety concerns for us. And so you always want to make sure that you budget appropriately for rental items and safety items that will allow you to be able to have a better experience for your trade partners, which will allow you to be able to finish your projects quicker and more efficiently, which overall allows for your homeowners to have a better overall experience, as well as ensure that there's no insurance claims that might take place on a builder's risk policy. This is absolutely critical to think about safety on your projects. We'd love to hear from the comments of any builders of what they've done to ensure proper safety for any challenging obstacles that might occur within their projects. So feel free to DM us below. We appreciate you following along. Hit that subscribe button if you don't already follow us. And as always, have a great day.